guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to another video. Today what we're doing is we're going to go through each position, goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders and strikers, and saying who we think Coventry's best player in each position is. This was a video suggested by one of the fans in the Sky Blues Fans Forum, which is a fantastic page on Facebook. Go check it out, the Sky Blues Fans Forum, and let's get into this. We'll get stuck into strikers then. So before we say your answer, let's just go over each of them that have played. So Matty Godden, what have you thought of him?
He's okay. I think the Championship's a bit higher of a level for him. Like, for his pace ability, like his pace, but he's kind of like, I know it's going to sound really like controversial, he's kind of like a Bobby for our team. Okay. Like, he holds the play up really well for someone his side, and he's got quite a good footballing brain, so overall he hasn't played that bad, really.
No.
Yeah.
3 goals in his first 4 games, but yeah. it kind of dried up a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, because we were playing crap when we were playing against top teams with like international level defenders. Like, he's not going to run past an international level defender, but his movement and at that level I think is more than enough. But I don't know, he's not my favourite, to be honest. But
okay, another one we'll mention, Tyler Walker. Been impressed by him?
I think there's more progression in him than Matty Godden. I think his age, his ability, the club that he's been at all his life, everywhere he's been, he's scored goals. I think if you get, how many he's got this season? He's got 3, hasn't he?
Yeah.
3, so he's got the same amount of goals as Matty Godden, but in probably half the minutes. Realistically, he's only started what, 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah. So he hasn't had much game time.
No, because obviously Godden's our #1 striker, and I think when Godden gets fully fit, I think that will continue as it is. I think it goes Godden. In Robin's eyes, it goes Godden, Walker, Biyamu, Bakayoko. I think that's the order of how he has it in his head, how he wants the team to play.
Yeah.
But with Walker, he's young, he's hungry, he wants to play football. He could have gone elsewhere in the summer, but he chose to come into us because he wants to play football. So that's me. I think there's progression in him. Yeah,
and then the other one we'll mention, like you said, is Biyamu. So he's the only other striker that's scored. He hasn't had much game time either, but he's been okay, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got 3 goals, hasn't he?
2, I think.
But he's my favourite striker out of all of them.
Really?
He offers for me, he offers some of the best work rate. He's more passionate about playing for this club than anybody else I know, because it's his first proper professional club that he's played for in this country. So I really like him. I think he's not the best, but for me he offers the most. He's physical. He's got a good finish on him. I think he could improve in the air, like finishing in the air. But overall, I really like him. I think he shows every year that he's got a right to be at this club. Every single year he steps up and he does really well for us. Yeah,
Biyamu's come from League 2 with us. So Matty Godden, Tyler Walker, Biyamu. Which striker after 20 games have you been most impressed by?
Out of all of them, probably for the amount of game time, I'm probably going to say Max.
Wow, Biyamu.
Yeah, because he's not the best footballer, but he puts 150% in every single time, and he scores important goals for us. He does. And he always seems to step up to that level where he needs to be. He's not a Championship striker, we can both agree that. But in this system, with Mark Robins is getting the best out of that bloke.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm actually going to say Biyamu. That's going to sound really strange. He's scored the least out of the strikers, but he's had very little game time. And I just love Biyamu. He's just proven himself every single time. Like, at the start of the season, there was all these rumours that he's going to go and he's fallen out of favour with Robins, but he's come into the team. He hasn't started many games, but he's scored a crucial goal against Norwich, scored against Rotherham, and I'm going to say I've actually been really impressed from what I've seen so far from him, so I'm actually going to agree with Max Biyamu there. And the next position is midfielders. We'll just go over the best ones so far this season. Gustavo Hamer, he's been brilliant, hasn't he?
Oh, he's different class, absolute different class.
Yeah?
He's easily in the top 5 midfielders in the division.
He is. He's one of the best midfielders in the division.
You think, it's going to sound really controversial because I'm on a Cov team, but the players he's got in front of him, considering the other teams have got the strikers they've got, we've got shit strikers in our front lineup compared to the ones that have got like 20, 30 million pound strikers. Norwich have got Pookie, do you know what I mean? Like, we've got players that played in League 1, League 2. I think Gustavo Hamer this season has carried us in every aspect. He's just, I think, what a bargain. And if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he'll be gone. He'll be gone in the summer for big money.
His value will be shooting up,
massively, yeah.
Another one we'll mention, Liam Kelly. He's been crucial since he's come in, hasn't he?
He's just brilliant. he's not the best footballer, but he's clever. He's clever how he wins fouls. He's clever how he always seems to shield in front of the back four. And being a new team in the Championship, you need that kind of extra defender that's a midfielder. Like, he's like your perfect CDM. He can pass it, he keeps it simple, he just keeps it ticking. He's kind of like a Jordan Henderson for Coventry City. He sits in front of that back four, he just moves it side to side, doesn't really give the ball away. He wins crucial fouls, and he's he's important to the way we are. He's been there with us since League Two again, and he's come all the way through to the Championship with us. I think
I've been so surprised how well he stepped up.
It doesn't surprise me how he stepped up. It's just, I think Robbins gives him a role to do, and he does it. Like, he hadn't scored in 3 years, and he scored two in one game, and it just shows that when we're a confident side, we're a good side. And I think when we're a good side is when he's playing. I think we're at our best when he's playing football for us.
I'd agree with that. A player you said was really good at the start of the season was Ben Sheaf. Do you stand by that?
I think he's a very good player. I think he's too clever for us. That's the problem. He's too clever for this division. He's played at Arsenal all his life.
Okay.
And they have a lot more time on the ball than the Premier League and that sort of area. Under 23s, he's not really played a lot of competitive men's football. He had Doncaster last season. But if you watch him, he moves the ball really, really well.
He does.
I just think he wants a little bit too much time on the ball. That'll come with age. That'll come with experience, knowing when to get rid of it, knowing when to be clever. But technical ability-wise, he's probably the best midfielder at the club in that role.
Wow.
In that role, he's very, very. I stand by. You just watch him. Watch how he does the dirty things. Like, he stepped up at the weekend. I didn't think he played bad at the weekend at all. I think he steps into Kelly's shoes really well. I just think because we didn't have Hamer in front of him, that's why we didn't have enough in the midfield. I think he's a perfect. I think Mark Robbins is trying to model him as a Kelly replacement because he's the similar sort of player. You can't really play them two together because they try to do the same job. So then we haven't got enough going forward. So that's why I think Sheep dropped onto the bench when Kelly was there, just to learn off him. I think he's the perfect player to learn off because I think Ben Sheep is real. He was Doncaster's Player of the Year last year. He was up there, and Ben Whiteman, he's their midfielder, and he's worth like 3-4 million. So if the Doncaster fans prefer Sheaf over him, it shows what kind of player he is. So I think there's potential in him a lot. I do like him a lot.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I've really been impressed by Ben Sheaf. The other midfielders, obviously, Callum O'Hare, Jordan Shipley, Jamie Allen, but I don't think they're going to be featured as our best midfielders.
I think, no, like, Jordan Shipley's a League One footballer, but he's loyal and he'll do any position for Robbins. And I think Robbins really likes him because he'll play anywhere. You could put him on the right, you could put him on the left, you could put him in the middle, you could even put him up front, and he'd try his best. Callum O'Hare, for me, he's just a bit. He reminds me of a player that's constantly sprinting on FIFA. Doesn't know when to stop sprinting. He just doesn't know when to take a second and actually play the right pass. He's just 100 miles an hour all the time. Right. I think if he perfects that side of his game and just slows down a little bit, analyses what he's doing on the ball, I think he'd be a much better player. But he's just too fast for his own good.
And Jamie Allen's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, it's his size. It's very hard to make an opinion in this division when you're so small and so weak. And he's not the strongest. But I think the last 2 games he's came in, he's done okay. Like, he hasn't been that bad. He's not going to light a game of football up.
No.
That's the thing about him. He's very, very. He's like a bypassing midfielder. He just kind of does the dirty side of the game. He tracks back really well. He's got high energies, but that's about it. He's not even going to be in the top 5 for me. But he's just steady Eddie. He's a good squad player to have.
Okay, so picking our favourite midfielder.
Gustavo Hamer.
Gustavo Hamer.
By a country mile. It goes Gustavo Hamer, Ben Sheaf, Liam Kelly. But Gustavo Hamer's like streets ahead. Like, he's so far ahead. Just all I'm going to say, if you're not a Coventry fan, just watch him. Just watch how good he is. Like, he's everywhere.
He does make the team tick. I know it's going to be boring, but I'm actually going to have to agree with that. Gustavo Hamer has been the best midfielder for Coventry this season. You could just tell when he's not playing because things like that Bristol game at the start of the season, as soon as he came off, the Coventry team just sort of dropped.
Yeah, I just think that they look at him because he's so good. And by the way, he used to be a right back. He's been a right back most of his career. And he makes centre midfield look like...
Didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look where he's played for the rest of... I think the last 2 years he's only played centre mid. Before that he was a right back.
Yeah.
So you think he's got so much ability. Like, look at the goal he only scored last weekend. And he's took the ball at the halfway line. Hasn't even looked up. He's just dinked the goalie from the halfway line and then he scored. That would have been goal of the season there and then. Fully done already before Christmas. He's just so good. Like, I don't know how we've managed to bag him at 1.3 million, but he's going to be worth 10, 15 million at the end of the season if he carries on playing the way he's playing.
Yeah.
Leeds are looking at him.
I just can't believe it. Yeah. He is just... He's a very good midfielder. I know people talk about him a lot, but I still think after all that he's still underrated. He's just so important.
I still think that there's one signing that I wish we would have made in the summer, and that would have been Liam Walsh. I still think him and Liam Walsh in front of Kelly would have been absolute dynamite. Absolute dynamite.
That would have been pretty
nice,
pretty strong in the middle. Okay, so both gone with Biamu, both gone with Gustavo Hamer. We'll move on to defenders. Leo Ostergaard.
I like him. He's got that. You can see he's got that. He's got that bit of class about him. I think within 2 or 3 years he's going to be a starting Premier League centre back.
He's very good, isn't he?
A big team. This season I don't think he's been great. I think he makes a lot of mistakes, but that's his age. I think that's his age and coming into a team that's trying to play the way we're trying to play. And I think he's better in the middle. Not on the right side centre back. I think he's better in the middle too.
Okay.
So I don't think he's ever really played as a back five. I think it's quite. You can see where he's not making the passes that McFadzean and Hyam do because he's not as comfortable as a ball playing centre back. But as a defensive header in centre back, there ain't many better in the division.
No.
He's so good in the air. He's strong. He's fast. He's powerful. I just as a centre back, for me, the most important thing is being able to defend. And then the rest of it comes. But Robbins looks at the way they pass the ball before the way they defend because the way we want to play football. But I think Ostergaard's been very good.
Dom Hyam.
He's just brilliant. He's not the fastest, but as a defender, he just gets his body into the right place. He's just very experienced. Considering he's only 25 years old, he feels so much older than he is because of the way he plays. But again, he's been with us since League Two.
He's part of that spine from League Two, isn't he?
And like we just seem to keep hold of these players, and I think it's pivotal to a team to have a spine of players that you trust. I think it was like Harry Arter with Bournemouth. I think he'd come through all the divisions with Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
And he'd become a Premier League player. I think Callum Wilson went from, I think it was Championship to Premier League and he was there for a long time. You got those players. Simon Francis, I think he was with Bournemouth throughout the whole division. So I think it's just
loyalty and experience.
Just very good. I just think, I can't believe we snagged him from Reading, regret letting him go because they could do with a player like him. I just think I think with the naivety, with the farting around at the start of the season with the formations, I think that let us down. But I think we've actually found a formation now where our defence looks really, really good. We've only conceded 2 goals from 9 games from open play.
McFadzean.
He's our best defender.
Our best defender.
Yeah.
You're meant to save that bit till the end.
I just think he's an absolute car crash at times. But you just watch him. He's always in the right place. He puts his body on the line. He's on the block every single time. He's always near post, clearing up for the goalkeeper. He's a leader. He's a leader at the back. You can see him constantly talking to his centre backs, trying to get him out, constantly. If he's not your ideal centre back, he just has a mistake in him. That's what concerns me. He's like a bull in a china shop. Like he doesn't do things in half measures. He just goes full-blooded all the time. And that, to me, I don't mind him doing that. I think the last 10 games he's proved his worth to this club, and I think he's absolutely pivotal to us staying up this season.
I'd agree with that. And briefly, a quick word on Michael Rose, Dabo, McCallum and Giles.
I think all-round footballers and the defence, we've got a cracking defence. We just looked a bit nervous at the start of the season. We were just giving away goals. I think we were showing teams too much respect and we were trying to tinker our way. And we've got to remember, we hadn't played football since March and we've come straight into a season with like 3 weeks pre-season. They looked rusty. They looked like they hadn't played football in a year. So I think once we got to speed and Dabo was coming back from a bad injury, Michael Rose coming back from a bad injury, McCallum came in last minute, and for me, Ryan Giles ain't a defender. He's a winger. I think all day long.
He's rapid.
Yeah, he's the fastest player I've ever seen play for Coventry City. He's absolutely rapid. He eats up turf. He just glides past defenders like they're not even there. For me, he's a winger. But you've got to shout out to Sam McCallum. I think he's been brilliant. Filled in at right back. I think he filled him at right back, put him at left back. He can play anywhere across the back 5. And I think he'd be brilliant. I think you could even stick him centre back and he'd have a good go. I just think all-round defenders, I think we've got some really good defenders at our team. I really do.
Yeah, so you've said Kyle McFadzean's your best.
I think overall, yeah, all-round defender. He's good on the ball. He's just a leader. He's just a warrior. He's just an old-school centre-back with a little bit of modern twist on him. He's just takes no nonsense.
No, it doesn't.
Clatters people.
He's very experienced.
He lets the strikers know he's around. He hits them hard. That for me, that's a centre back for me. He lets them know early doors, and I think I appreciate. He's very, very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to disagree with you on this one. I think McFadzean probably is in my top 2, but first I'm going to go for Dominic Hyam. I just think you just trust him. I mean, not that I don't trust McFadzean, but I just think Dom Hyam is a safe pair of legs because he's just been with us since League Two. He's just a really, really reliable defender, and he does everything pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's the one thing that lets him down is his pace. That's the only flaw in his armoury that he's got is his pace. He can pass the ball. He comes out with the ball. Don Heim's a very good defender, and he's definitely going to be a future captain for this club, I think.
I'd agree with that. I think he could even be a player well, you never know. He could join us. He could take us all the way to the Premier League. You never know, but I think he is that good. We'll move on to the last one, which is goalkeepers. Now, I'm surprised we're even talking about this, because 10 games ago I wouldn't have thought this would be a debate, but Ben Wilson.
I have more trust in him than I do Morosi.
Wow.
I've stood by it and I stand by it all season long. That bloke does not want to come off his line. And as a team,
Morosi?
Yeah, he's so line-based. Like, you watch him, he looks petrified to come and claim the ball. The first thing Ben Wilson did when he came on for Morosi, when he broke his cheekbone, he came and claimed the ball. He came on, he took pressure off the defence. He sat on the ball, a couple of seconds, and we went. Morosi don't do that. He comes out and he flaps at it, he punches it. You've got no respite with that goalkeeper. There's no couple of seconds just to get back into shape and go. His kicking's better.
Yeah.
His overall coming for the ball is better. Yes, he doesn't fat around with it at the back as much. I don't care. He can pass it to the centre backs happily, and I think his distribution's all round better. His throwing's better. I just think because Morosi's better on the ball around the back, that's why he gets the nod. Shot stopping, I'd say they're probably quite similar. I think maybe Morosi's got a better reaction in him. But Ben Wilson's trying to come out and close the gap. He's trying to come out and make it smaller for the goalkeeper. Morosi don't do that. The amount of penalties we've conceded this season because he stayed on his line. I think the one against Nottingham Forest, he stayed on his line. If he came out,
he came out
and he closed the gap, the striker probably didn't score.
No,
but Morosi's made a decision to stay on his line. That gives McFadzean something to do, and that's why we give the penalty away, because he's give him something to do. If the goalie, I feel like there's no mistake in it, and we've kept more clean sheets with Ben Wilson than we did Marco Morosi, because I think they feel more confident with him behind them.
Yeah, if I say to you then, who would you choose? Would you choose Wilson?
Yes, all round. I'd say as an all-round goalkeeper, there's a mistake in him, but Morosi's a streetwise goalkeeper. He doesn't make many mistakes, but for me, he brings more pressure onto the back four than Ben Wilson does, because he just can't come and claim a ball. Yeah. Ben Wilson's got a great leap on him, and he claims the ball, and he's kicking, gets us out of trouble. Morosi's kicking it out of play every 10-15 seconds when he got the ball. He can't kick it long. He tries to be too clever with his kicks. I'm not being funny or anything, but we've got big strikers. They aim up there for him, getting in amongst the striker, but Morosi won't do that. And I don't know, for me, I think Ben Wilson will probably get dropped when Morosi comes back, because I think Morosi's number one.
I think personally he shouldn't get dropped. I think when Morosi comes back, he should have to wait for Wilson to make like a mistake.
Yes, 100%. Like Arsenal made that big mistake with Martinez and Leno. As soon as Leno was fit again, Martinez was back on the bench.
That's why he went. That's why he went. It knocks their confidence.
And you've got to remember, we've still got Lee Camp.
Yeah.
Who's, I think, probably helping Ben Wilson a little bit because he's so experienced. I think there's more progression in Ben Wilson than there is in Marco Morosi. So, I don't know, it's whatever choice you think, but I know my number one goalkeeper.
I'm actually going to sit on the fence with this one and say I think they're equally as good, because I think they're both showing signs of being really quality goalkeepers. What I'll do is I'll let you guys decide down in the comments who you think's better. I mean, Wilson has really impressed me. I've been stunned by how good he's been, but then you almost forget how good Morosi is. So it is a hard one. I'll let you decide down in the comments. So yeah, favourite striker, we both went for Biamu.
Yep.
Favourite midfielder, we both went for Gustavo Hamer. Favourite defender, you went McFadzean, I went Hyam, and goalkeeper, you said Wilson, and I said both. It's a draw. So yeah, that rounds up today's video, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.